We've all seen King Kong vs Godzilla. But what if we saw the Dark Knight take on the King of the Monsters? If these two were to ever face off, who would come out on top? Let's find out in today's episode of Who Would Win. It's me. Welcome to my channel, where we entertain the hypothetical by putting two combatants in an arena and letting the facts speak for themselves. But don't forget, it is your duty as a citizen of Nerd Squad to comment below with your own ideas of who should go head-to-head next. And while you're down there, smash that like button, so the algorithm stops being mean to us. First up, let's take a look at Batman. Bruce Wayne is a man who dresses like a bat and preys on the criminal element of Gotham City, striking fear into the hearts of evildoers everywhere. Bruce has been fighting crime since he was just a young boy after witnessing the death of his parents. In order to be the best possible crime fighter, Bruce trained his body and mind to the absolute limit. He also had a huge amount of money thanks to his parents' legacy, which meant that he could afford to buy pretty much anything he wanted. So he bought himself a giant mansion, high-tech gadgets, cool vehicles, and even an army of cool vehicles to help him fight crime. Bruce isn't superhuman, but some might say he's become a kind of god among mortals. With his money, intelligence, skills, and sheer willpower, he has single-handedly brought down entire criminal empires and even sometimes single-handedly taken on hordes of enemies, winning time and time again. Of course, Batman isn't invincible. There are people stronger than him, faster than him, and more skilled fighters than him. But few, if any, are as dedicated and relentless as Batman. Once he sets his mind to something, he will stop at nothing to achieve it, making him one of the scariest figures in all of fiction. And now, let's turn our attention to Godzilla. Godzilla is a colossal monster with the heart of a volcano and the skin of a battleship. Hailing from somewhere deep in the depths of the ocean, Godzilla tends to stir from his slumber only when humanity does something stupid like nuke him or something. When he does wake up though, he generally goes on a rampage, destroying everything in his path. That's not to say that Godzilla isn't misunderstood. It's just that most people aren't smart enough to understand him. They couldn't grasp his colossal brain or fathom the things he has seen in his 60 million years on this planet. And that makes Godzilla a little grumpy. So what does Godzilla do when he's grumpy? Well, he trashes Tokyo and whatever city happens to be near him. And when he's done trashing the city, then he goes back to bed. While Godzilla is obviously very dangerous, he's not unbeatable. In fact, there are several instances in his movie canon where he's managed to die, usually by falling off a cliff, getting blasted into space, or being turned into a skeleton. Now that we have our combatants, let's set our stage. The battle between Batman and Godzilla will take place in downtown Tokyo. These two combatants couldn't be more opposite from each other, and yet somehow I feel like they wind up becoming allies someday. The buildings are tall and numerous in downtown Tokyo, meaning that our combatants will have plenty of places to hide and use as cover. The tight quarters may make it difficult for Godzilla to unleash his full potential, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because remember that Batman is a master strategist and tactician, so the tighter the space, the better for him. Let's go ahead and get this battle started. Godzilla stomps through downtown Tokyo, roaring ferociously and crushing cars underfoot like they're made of candy. People scream and run for their lives, but Godzilla doesn't want to hurt them. Honestly, he's in a good mood. He's feeling pretty chill. He just wants to hang out in Tokyo for a while and maybe have a nice chat with some friends. Friends like Rodan, Mothra, or King Ghidorah. You know, just a couple buddies. Godzilla stops when he sees something sitting atop one of the skyscrapers watching him intently. It's a man dressed in black leather. As Godzilla waves hello, the man leaps from the building. He unfurls a cape that looks like a bat's wings and lands gracefully on top of a nearby billboard. Godzilla knows who this man is. It's the legendary Batman, Dark Knight of Gotham City. Batman holds out a hand in greeting and says, "You wouldn't happen to be looking for a friend, would ya?" Godzilla shrugs and replies, "Nope, but thanks anyway." Then he continues walking toward the Imperial Palace. Batman shakes his head and responds, "Suit yourself," before turning away and disappearing into the shadows. Godzilla reaches the palace and uses his atomic breath to blow a hole directly through it. From within emerges the Japanese Defense Force led by a man named Kyohei. Batman descends from the sky and tells the military to stand down. Yamei asks Batman why he's stopped Godzilla, to which Batman simply replies, "He's a threat to human life. Someone has to stop him." Yomi asks if Batman is here to fight Godzilla, to which Batman replies, "Actually, I'm here to end this quickly and with as little collateral damage as possible. And with that, Batman shoots a grapple gun into the nearest building, swings across the street and disappears over another building. Yamane watches him go and says, "Well, that was rude." A moment later, Batman finds himself face to face with Godzilla, who asks him why he's trying to stop him from having fun. Batman responds, "I'm not here to make conversation, but if you want to make this easy on yourself, you'll come quietly." Godzilla roars in response and blasts Batman with his atomic breath. The attack catches Batman off guard and knocks him clear across the street, but Batman manages to recover in time to dodge another blast. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, it's time for Batman to show Godzilla what he's really made of. Batman leaps into the air and kicks Godzilla square in the chest. Godzilla stumbles backward, surprised by the force of the blow. This is not how he normally does battle. Usually he just shows up, blows everything up and then goes back to bed. Taking a moment to assess the situation, Godzilla turns his attention back to Batman and fires another blast of atomic breath. But Batman is ready for it this time and manages to dodge out of the way. The fight continues with Batman managing to land a few hits on Godzilla before realizing that he needs a new strategy. Godzilla is just too powerful for Batman to defeat in a straight-up brawl, so he needs a different approach. Using his utility belt, Batman pulls out a small device that emits a low-frequency sound wave. This is a modified version of the sonic emitter technology that the military used in the Godzilla movie Pacific Rim. While it won't hurt Godzilla, it may just distract him long enough for Batman to do what he needs to do. As Godzilla gets closer and closer, Batman keeps moving away from him, staying just out of range of his atomic breath. Godzilla lets out a frustrated roar and charges forward, smashing cars and buildings as he goes. Batman leads him on a merry chase, until finally he decides it's time to make his move. As Godzilla lunges forward, Batman pulls out a detonator and presses the button. Several buildings explode behind him, and Godzilla is buried in the rubble. But wait, there's a twist. The buildings weren't actually rigged with explosives. Instead, they were holographic projections created by Batman's bat. Godzilla emerges from the smoke and dust, none the worse for wear, but he's starting to get a little pissed off. Batman had promised to end this quickly, and so far the fight has gone on longer than some of Godzilla's actual movie appearances. Batman takes off into the sky, dodging Godzilla's frustrated blasts of atomic breath. He flies to the top of the tallest building in the city and surveys the scene. The truth is, Batman needs help, and he's hoping that help will arrive soon. As if summoned by his thoughts, a portal opens up in the sky and soldiers armed with rocket launchers step out. One of the soldiers calls out, "Is everyone here? Good. Then let's go kick some monster butt." Batman greets them warmly and says, "Just what I was hoping you'd say. All right, men, it's time to show this overgrown lizard what we're made of." And with that, the real battle begins. So who would win? Who would win in a battle between Batman and Godzilla? In the comments below, tell me if you think it's the Dark Knight or the King of the Monsters. Personally, I think that Batman is smart enough to realize that he undefeat Godzilla in a straight-up fight, so he'll need to use his intellect to find a way to exploit Godzilla's weaknesses. Luckily for Batman, Godzilla has quite a few. For example, Godzilla is very vulnerable to radiation, and luckily for Batman, he has a lot of radioactive material at his disposal, including but not limited to kryptonite. So Batman could either use a kryptonite weapon of some sort, or simply douse himself in the stuff and cut Godzilla with one of his knives. Because Batman always carries a knife, I believe that Batman would be able to defeat Godzilla and claim victory for the humans. That's it for today's episode. But if you want to see more, then be sure to subscribe and leave a like below. Thanks for watching. I've been your host. Until next time, stay safe and stay nerdy.